So immediately after we recorded, right, I went to upload the raw recording onto my desktop. And
Mm-hmm.
the first thing that I figured out was that this is going to be extremely time consuming because I'm going to have to sit down and listen to the entire conversation again. And let me tell you, that was painful. Because you know how in a regular conversation, people take time to process the information that another person is providing them with.
Yeah.
And that time it takes to process that information is time where nothing is being said. And times where nothing is being said are times that the listener is bored.
Mm.
So I had to cut out the many 1 to 2 second silences in the podcast just to make it a little bit more enjoyable. But on the other hand, I had to be careful to not cut out too many silences. If not, it will come off as too spontaneous and too scripted.
Too unnatural.
Yeah. And another thing that I picked up on was you sound very different when being recorded as opposed to your regular self when like we communicate on a day-to-day basis. Do I sound like that too?
Yeah. I mean, it's very obvious when you started recording because you automatically like assume a voice. You assume a much more formal voice, I guess.
Is it really formal? Because it feels as though I'm just having fun and just saying whatever comes to mind. But I don't know. I think maybe I've gotten used to my own voice. Someone said that I spoke like a diplomat. I have no idea what to make of that.
I mean, I have heard people say that in like presentations that you had last year, I've heard people say that you adopt a certain accent of speaking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the word accent. I don't think I do. I mean, or if I do, it's not intentional. But don't you find
But
this fascinating? Where people just naturally adopt a different persona when faced with different situations.
I mean, I wouldn't be that surprised. After all, everyone puts on a certain mask or a certain front when they face different people, face different situations. For example, keyboard warriors, in which online they just type a lot of very harsh, critical things, however in real life they do not dare to utter it.
When you talked about keyboard warriors, I just thought about this dichotomy where some people can be extroverted on the internet but very introverted in real life.
Hmm. I guess it's just like the protection that the internet provides someone can allow people to be a lot more upfront with
Courageous,
what
yeah.
a lot more courageous also because
I think it's just because of the anonymity.
exactly yeah.
What do you think of those? Okay, let's talk a bit about introversion and extroversion. Okay, what do you think of extroverts?
Um, honestly, I'm not sure what to like think of them. Yeah.
I guess I do feel as a sort of I do feel sort of envious towards the amount of social energy they have. And it
Yeah.
fascinates me that people can feel recharged from uh, being around other people and communicating with them.
Mhm.
Because for me, after I go out for like a day, I feel tired. And then if there's another outing on another day, I would feel extra tired. And if those 2 days are back to back, you will not see me out for at least the next 7 days.
Uh-huh.
But then there's also that middle ground called the extroverted introvert.
Mm-hmm.
You think there's a separate personality trait? Let's go with personality trait. Do you think it's a separate personality trait from introverts, or do you think it's just like an extension of
I
their
mean,
kind?
I would honestly think it's just an extension because I would say that like each introvert just has like being an introvert myself, like I mean, I don't think it's only for introverts. I think for any person, they do want a certain amount of like social interaction. They do want a certain amount of like,
Well, that's normal because I'm pretty sure I read
yeah,
somewhere that humans are social creatures. So I think it's even more scary if they can thrive on loneliness.
oh yeah, definitely.
Wait, isn't that
Yeah.
how like sociopaths and psychopaths are?
But actually, don't sociopaths actually? I mean, at least the sociopaths that I've like heard of, they actually are extremely extroverted, but then they just like
Really?
they end up like manipulate like every single person through their extroversion, which is what makes them a sociopath, pretty much.
Oh, that's really messed up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but back to the thing of introverts and the extroverted introvert. I would regarding that, yeah, I would say it's just an extension because every person demands a certain amount of, or should I say that they have a fixed amount of social battery. Those introverts that have like probably a longer or yeah, they have a longer social battery and are able to sustain and are able to go like look for and carry out social interactions for longer periods of time are just categorized under extroverted introverts. So I'll say that at the very at the very root, they still are the same. Like they're still introverts. However, what varies is just their social battery. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose. But then there's also the strange, not strange, but this other type that I've heard about. Actually, no, I haven't heard about because I think I am one of those where where I feel much more comfortable speaking to someone like over like online, but like with my like okay, just think, okay, HBL, right? Just think me and Zoom, except that instead of me and 20 other people in the class, it's just me and like my group of friends. Because
Oh.
when I went, okay, during the holidays last year, I went to, I didn't go to, yeah, I just hung out with my primary school friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever we called on Discord, I was always the one, like, okay, I wouldn't say I was always the one, but I was generally more active than normal. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
because I haven't seen them in a long time, or I don't know. But the many times that we've actually decided to step out of our house, I just found myself unable to think of anything to say. And then one of my friends was like, "Why are you so quiet? Why are you so quiet?" And then I said, this was online. And then I said, maybe I just feel more comfortable behind the screen." And the response I got was, "Wow." Just wow.
I guess for a lot of people, they're just so used to like they're so used to communicating over the internet. So when they are I wouldn't say forced, but when they have to be in a face-to-face interaction, they might sometimes indeed find themselves struggling.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether I've told you about this before, but I guess I'll just say it again for our listeners' sake. I like to associate people with a conversation cost.
A conversation or a
So
conversation.
you know the whole idea of the social battery that we talked about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So some people just require more battery. Not more battery, but more battery. Is the word power? Is that how energy works? I don't know. But
More electricity or more charge. I don't know.
you are supposed to be the person who knows this.
Maybe,
You're
maybe
supposed
just
to know
put
this.
it
You
that
study
some
physics.
people are more taxing to talk to, therefore they deplete your social
I
battery.
don't think we should go with taxing. Taxing sounds
It's too harsh.
it's not it is harsh. Okay, it is harsh, but I'll say some people are generally more expensive to talk to. Like it takes more
Basically, they're
effort on
harder
my
to
part
yeah.
to initiate the conversation, sustain the conversation, and for these extremely expensive people, uh, you sometimes have to carry the conversation, and it
Oh
sometimes feels as though I'm doing a monologue.
yeah.
Yeah, I hate those so much. Like, what's the point of talking to another person if all they're going to respond with is, "Yeah, I agree." Uh, hmm. How expensive do you think you are to me?
I don't think I'm very expensive to you at least because I am usually awkward with people. So considering the fact that I can just randomly just let nonsense to you, um,
Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Someone finally telling me like whatever they are feeling about whatever. And onto this topic of feeling, right? Do you
mhm.
think that uh bottling up emotions is a good thing?
I would, I would definitely say it's not because no matter. Honestly, I was also kind of say it depends on bottling up emotions. Like, I guess, okay, I would say that definitely no, it's not good to bottle up emotions because all it will do is just like tire you out a lot. I mean, some people might argue that perhaps such emotions might help you, might give you the additional push might give you the additional push for you to study harder and like score well. But then in the long term, I would say that it's not really worth it. Yeah.
See, but my counter argument here is that imagine a society where everybody was honest with themselves and with others.
Oh, that would be okay. That would be arguably as bad or even worse.
Can you just imagine, right?
Mm,
School, okay, just take school for example, and
mm,
especially us students, where we are extremely stressed out, not only by academic work, but also by the very process of growing up.
yeah,
So many feelings, and if everybody decides to express it in school, can you imagine how chaotic that would be?
yeah, it'd be really bad.
But at the
Yeah,
same time, the counter argument is that that is cathartic. It just it's like the feeling you get after a good cry, you know, where everything is released, like it's sort of like expelling the toxin from your body.
but I guess the problem comes like the problem is when is how should I put it? Whether the toxins you expel from your body ends up affecting others. I guess because okay, for example, if someone dislikes someone else and then they decide to be very honest with their emotions and tell the person that oh I do not like you because you perhaps like maybe your I maybe someone would say something like I do not like how you
I
act.
do not like you
Maybe,
just because. Let's just roll with that reason.
okay. I would say in the long term, perhaps it's not that good for the other person. I guess people, if they really have like a lot of emotions, they tend to go to someone like trusted to expel them. If not, then
I forgot about that.
hmm?
I forgot about the whole confide in someone you trust thing.
Hmm. Oh,
I
but
also focused on the tell everyone how you feel. I forgot about that. Uh, I, I would take note of that. Anyway, moving on. I guess we do need like a system flush. Like you flush the cache out of your computer
mm-hmm.
to make your computer functioning again. Yeah, I guess the same logic applies here, except that you flush it out to a certain place, except that place is a person.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be great. But there are some things that are hard to communicate, right? Let's take for example. Okay, do you ever feel this this overwhelming uh existential crisis
I mean,
whenever
like,
11 p.m. 12 a.m. hits?
I usually do not experience it then because I'll be too tired and just doze off. But oh, actually, yeah, I guess yeah, I definitely experienced those before. I mean, everyone in the teenage years definitely experiences something like that. And then uh, what how they might react might include things such as desperately signing up for things to build up their portfolio and also maybe desperately burning the midnight oil to study harder to score well because they realize that oh what am I without my academics, what am I without my thick stack of achievements in my portfolio.
But I think the fascinating thing about this this sudden onset of negative emotions is the fact that it just disappears whenever morning comes. And
Yeah.
sometimes at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night, I'll just feel extremely drained, but not I mean like, partly physically, but like partly emotionally and mentally too. But then when I wake up at 6:15 a.m. for school the next day, the only thing I can think of is how angry I am that I had to wake up. And then
So
in
basically
the
there's a bigger
highly
problem.
unlikely event that I actually remember what I was feeling yesterday, I'll just think that past me was overreacting.
Yeah, yeah. But at the same time, whenever you actually enter that sort of state, you are not able to, how should I put it? You're not able to channel out such thoughts of I might be overreacting or I might be taking this too seriously because you already have the emotions, you're already in that state. So it's very hard to bring yourself out of it.
But isn't the concerning thing isn't it isn't the repetition or like the recurrence of such feelings a thing of concern?
The
Because
recurrence is
it feels cyclic, doesn't it? Sadness, sleep, no
the day comes.
sadness, the
Then
day comes and goes, sadness,
let's
repeat.
see. I guess that just comes from I would just say maybe how much stress we have in life.
Yeah, I guess that plays a part too. Huh?
I feel that plays like I do feel that plays quite a big part because after all, the reasons why we have existential crises are things that usually stem from perhaps societal pressure, like for example, you might at one night you might just you might just think that oh, I'm not scoring well for any of my sciences and my humanities are maybe just average. Then obviously you think that so what jobs will actually take me in? What jobs will take what jobs will just take an average student? Then you'll be like then that person will probably think along the lines of I want to be probably the stereotypical like ideal jobs, like doctor, lawyer, engineer, and then yeah, and where does it stem from? It stems from societal pressure, like pressure that you are maybe this like sort of idea that is kind of ingrained into people um, that you when you grow up to be successful, you need to have a good job, which basically earns you a lot of money. Then yeah, basically like the four C's, like the whole idea of the four C's.
This one.
Yeah.
Wait, wait. I heard of the four C's before. I already know it's cash, condominium, credit card, and
and country club membership.
Singapore barely has any country club. I don't know. I'm not a rich person.
It's like, huh? There's one. I think there's one in like each corner of the. I also don't know.
I like to be an indoors. I consider myself an indoors human, so I'll just settle for cash and credit card. I think they're the same thing. But okay, yeah. Going back to the four C's, I think whatever you just said it's just a matter of whatever we value.
Yeah.
Because when I feel this, let's just call it the 11 p.m. The 11 p.m. onset of sadness. Yeah, whenever I feel that 11 p.m. onset of sadness, I don't think about how. Okay, I don't usually think about how my future will be, or like how my studies are coming along. Even though recently I have been feeling that it's quite worrying. Why are you laughing? It's serious.
I mean, I'm also experiencing that, but then I don't know why you saying it just sounded so funny.
Yeah, okay. Just go on. Dismissing whatever I'm feeling. Dismiss my monologue. But yeah. Anyway, enough about you and more on to me. What was I saying? Yeah.
You were mentioning that your 11 p.m.
Yeah.
onset
11 p.m.
of
onset of sadness. So sometimes there's work, and sometimes, or most of the time, it's just what am I supposed to do with this life?
I would say that your I would say that your this sort of 1:11 p.m. on what sadness?
Let's just call it the 11 p.m. sadness.
Oh, the 11 p.m. Okay. I would say this 11 p.m. sadness definitely also depends on the person's state of mind. Then yeah, definitely because I remember when I had these things, maybe in sec one, sec two, I thought a lot more along the lines of because I was more immature or maybe because my priorities were different. I thought more along the lines of like I thought more along the lines of what am I going to do in the future. Then I look at my peers and I compare my peers. Compare my peers and then think about what should I do to score a good score? What should I do to build my portfolio? So I would say that um, your 11 p.m. sadness is more, how should I put it, more deep, I guess, like thinking about what are you going to do with this life. I feel that that statement has a lot more self-reflection in it. While for me, when I like back then, it was a lot more, it was a lot more very naive sort of thinking. Yeah, very naive sort of mindset, pretty much.
But don't you find this scary though? This ability to recognize the problem and this ability to communicate with yourself as though this other self that you're talking to is a completely different being.
Mm, yeah, that I wouldn't say it's scary.
Just think like what do you call it? Talking to yourself but on a larger, more incomprehensible level.
It's quite fascinating that we can actually that our bodies are actually able to it's like tailored such that we are able to identify such problems and actually uh and actually able to generate such like potentially very strong feelings at very strong feelings to allow us to kind of like guide us into more self reflection and more like brainstorming on how to solve our immediate problems, I guess. But one thing I would definitely associate it with is like tiredness. Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, see the thing about tiredness, I think just physical and mental exhaustion plays a part.
Hmm.
And I think it facilitates the arrival of 11 p.m. sadness.
Mm.
But I think it's good that we are able to recognize the roots, or well, at least attempt to recognize the roots of these problems and also attempt to address it. But I think like for now, what you and I are doing is just it's just treating the symptoms. And the way we treat the symptoms, or like
It's pretty.
with the symptoms being just 11 p.m. sadness, right, is
Mhm.
just going to bed and
Yeah.
detoxifying the body, and then waking up
Yeah.
at 6 a.m. angry that I have to go to school. I had this
Yeah.
conversation with like my class once where we actually just organized the clock where 10 p.m. is exhaustion, 11 p.m. is whatever we're talking about. And then once like the AM hits is when the boundaries between um sadness and depression get blurred, I feel.
Mm, yeah, that's interesting. Why do your why do you say so though?
Uh this I guess it's a thing that you've just like got to experience, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose.
Oh, that's interesting. When it's in the morning, sadness and depression become like
I think just like sadness undergoes compound interest and evolves into something that I would really rather not deal with. I
oh.
think that's the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but didn't you like mention earlier that sadness when you wake up it's just all gone?
Yeah. And that's what I mean by detoxing. Yeah, I just called what I call this. I think I have a term for this. Yeah, I like to call it like the routine midnight detox because that is exactly what it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite I on one hand it's quite fascinating, but on the other hand I think it's pretty scary.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
And
I think still the important thing is just acknowledging it and then finding a way to move on. And let me tell you that knowing that other people have felt a similar thing just makes you feel so much better.
yeah, of course.
Because
Yeah.
and the funny thing was we were talking about that over lunch. The
Mm-hmm.
polar opposite of whenever the polar opposite of when the subject matter takes place.
Mm-hmm.
Just thought I point that out.
Yeah.
Then going on to more detoxing methods, right? Because apart from sleep is amazing. Um, you know, uh, I don't know. Okay, people call these things different things, but let's just roll with Instagram spam accounts, okay?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say like drowning yourself in work, because that is also because I feel like, okay, like in the detox method that you mentioned before, like before you got to the Instagram part, right?
Uh,
You pretty much mentioned that you detox by thinking about it at night, and then when you wake up, you are awake and you're pretty much distracted. I feel that the key part is the distraction, because when you wake up, you got your routines to go through, you got things that are that have a certain urgency to them, like school, yeah, like school or work. So I feel that the idea of there being a distraction is very key to helping you get your mind off this like sort of 11 p.m. sadness. So so before I get to your point, I would just like to add that maybe drowning yourself is also another way of a
drowning
detox.
yourself in work, not literally drowning yourself.
What? Oh yeah,
Yeah, be
like
careful with what you're telling people.
so as I was saying, I would say that drowning yourself in work is also another way of a detox, as
Because it serves
yeah,
as a
as
distraction.
work is what?
It serves as a distraction.
It serves as a distraction. Plus, when you finish like a lot of that work, you will also be temporarily like satisfied, you know. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah, I
so
get
it's
what you
kind of
mean.
like there's an additional reward other than getting your mind off things. So maybe that's why a lot of people just drown themselves in work to run to get their mind off things. Yeah. Okay, so continue your Instagram spam.
Yeah, okay, see, the thing that I don't agree with, right, is the whole this I feel distracted and I get a temporary source of dopamine for getting through a pile of work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this method
Mm-hmm.
because the 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 emotions are still within you. It's just
Yeah.
that you have just temporarily dismissed them.
Uh-huh.
Whereas as for Instagram spam accounts, right? I have no idea how other people treat their spam accounts,
Mm-hmm.
but I like to treat mine as an emotional dumping ground where it's like a eh, now that I think about it, it sounds like a diary except that some people can read it.
Uh-huh.
I think it's one of the better ways to deal with it actually, because emotions and feelings are something immaterial, right?
Yeah. So you have to give them form through your
Yeah,
Instagram.
I think um the act of writing the act of writing is cathartic because your writing becomes the physical manifestation of your feelings, and the ability to take this burden and put it aside, or like at the very least being able to see this burden being put aside.
Yeah, it makes it a
I think
lot
it's a
easier.
lot better than just
Mm.
putting it aside mentally and internally, you know.
Yeah, but then it's always just there. Yeah.
I mean, I've read online, right, that sometimes it's better to write whatever you're feeling out on a piece of paper and then physically burn that piece of paper. And the only reason I don't do that is because I'm afraid I'll burn my house down.
I I mean I also do know some people that pretty much they just write very long stories that they think of in order to just relieve their stress and just and just provide them with that a sort of escapism. But yeah, but now that I think about it, it is different from what you were talking about, because
Yeah, I guess
like for them they are writing, yeah.
I guess like diaries and
uh,
writing do serve as a great form of escapism. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Mm, but other than writing, how do you feel about music? Because I do feel that
The act of composing music or listening to music.
no, actually, honestly, I feel that it's a matter of personal preference, because personally, a few years back, or maybe 2 to 3 years back, I there was a period of time which I actually enjoyed playing the piano greatly, instead of being forced into playing the piano. But but yeah, When I did play the most in that period, I would say that sometimes it will help me flush out my emotions through the pieces themselves. And then I feel that it's not only restricted to I feel it's not only restricted to playing music. It's also composing music and listening to music. It honestly just depends on your preference. So yeah, what do you think about what do you think about using music as a medium to achieve the this sort of cathartic feeling?
Um, I can't say much about the creation part. I'm more of a you listen to sad music
Mm.
to compound your sadness, which makes you feel happier.
So basically, to paraphrase, you listen to sad music to feel that to kind of feel that I mean, at least for me, when I listen to sad music, it's kind of to have the feeling that, oh, you're not alone, and through that
Yeah,
kind
see,
of
it's
drop a
okay.
little bit of that burden.
The thing I want to clarify here that it's partially that, but it's also just I'm listening to sad music because I want to feel sad. Because I guess the counter argument for whatever I'm saying is, but if you are sad, listen to happy music to make you feel happy. But
Mm.
then what I say to that is, if when I'm sad and I listen to happy music and I'm unable to feel happy, I will feel angry because I cannot feel happy. And this happiness, I just get jealous of this happiness that this song is radiating. And I'll feel
Yeah,
angry and sad.
yeah. I would definitely say it's also because of the how you that you definitely cannot relate to a happy song talking about maybe yeah, talking about I don't even know what happy songs really entail. But then if you're in a sad state and you listen to a happy song, yeah, you definitely feel frustrated because not only are you not in that state, yeah, not only are you not in that state, you also completely cannot not completely cannot. You'll find it very hard to relate to a happy song when you're sad. It's
I
just
think the closest analogy would be uh period one of school. You just got back a test that you failed, and it's a test that you've studied really hard for and were really determined to pass. And then period two, a teacher comes in and starts their lecture on some content heavy topic.
mm,
You're just not in the mood to listen.
yeah, yeah.
So sadness and anger compounded into
Mm.
a dysfunctional student.
Ah,
I don't I hate that so much.
but actually, now that I think about it, how much would you, or maybe to what extent would you blame the stresses caused by school, which includes things such as like academic, social, pretty much those two.
Just academic and social life, is it?
Oh yeah. How much to what extent would you say that these stresses caused by school uh result in this sort of sadness? Like, because,
I'll attribute. Okay, if you're going to consider both academics and the school the school community, right? I
mm,
would like attribute 99% of whatever I'm feeling to them, because
mm,
as we previously discussed, the student life revolves around school.
yeah, yeah.
So everything can be traced back to school. I'm feeling stressed about my test. I'm feeling stressed about the test after the test. I'm feeling stressed about my relationships with my friends. I am feeling stressed about my non-existent relationships with my friends.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think it's just all of that. But ultimately, I think it's just inevitable, and we just got to learn to deal with it. And I say this now
No,
with
no,
a
no,
lot of
knowing that in the
reluctance,
future,
because I
there's a
don't
lot of
want to learn. I don't want to grow up and deal with adulting.
yeah. But actually, since we're on this topic, right? What do you feel about the whole idea of counselors? Yeah, like what are your views towards people? Because I guess for many people, okay, actually I don't really want to generalize, but yeah, I think for many people, usually when they think of who to go to for uh to expel their emotions, they don't really think of counselors immediately, right? Do they?
Uh, Speaking personally, no.
Yeah. I guess it's just the idea of telling a stranger, uh, yeah, like how should I put it? Yeah, I guess it's just the idea of telling a total stranger about everything that's going on in your life, which kind of scares some people.
Yeah,
I,
I completely understand what you're talking about.
mm,
Mm, I think that counselors have a place
mm,
in society, or at least at the very least a school community, because counselors in the real world and school counselors are different. But
yeah.
for this discussion's sake, let's just generalize.
Mm,
I guess it depends on who you are comfortable with and how severe your problems are. Because what friends do, right, is okay, for let's say that there are two friends, okay? Let's call them friend A and friend B
yeah.
because I am very creative.
Oh,
Suppose friend A has a lot of problems and friend A has some problems that they want to
yeah.
share with friend B.
Mm-hmm.
Friend B genuinely cares for friend A.
Mm-hmm.
And when friend A talks to when friend A shares with friend B will be there to listen. And
Yeah.
see, this is where the problem starts. What is the appropriate course of action for friend B to take? To
Oh, yeah.
listen to friend A, to provide advice for friend A, or
Uh-huh.
to counsel friend A?
What do you mean by counsel friendly? Though? How's it different from giving advice?
Giving okay, I used to do the I used to be the one that would give advice unknowingly. Like it was just instinctual, okay? And
Mm,
to give advice would be to just uh, deal with the matter very objectively. Let me put it this way. Suppose you are complaining to me about um, the fact that your parents made you select these subjects to study at the HL level.
uh-huh.
My advice to you would be very objectively, if you do not like those subjects and if you do not feel comfortable taking those subjects at an HL level or any level for that matter, then don't take it. The
Yep.
very act of not taking it is easy, right? You just don't click the box for the in the puzzle game called the
Mm,
subject selection thing. It is a puzzle game because there's so many boxes everywhere. But seriously, it is really that simple, right?
yeah.
But you and I know for friend A that whatever friend B just said or whatever I just said is useless to them because yeah, even they know if they don't want the subject, just don't pick the subject.
Yeah,
But the
but it's very
emotional
the situation
costs,
though.
yeah, the social costs that come from the family and the emotional costs that come from disappointing the family are just
Yeah.
too much for him to bear. Which is
Yeah.
the problem with confiding in a friend, in my opinion, because you don't know what they want,
The
and most of the time, you don't know their reaction, and then most of the time, right, they do mean well. It's just that they aren't prepared to deal
give it.
with your problems and help you through the problems.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes if
Because
if you have a really really bad day, right, and you're just so
uh,
angry, you just want to complain to someone. You don't want advice. And then when you
yeah.
get advice, you can't just yell at the other guy because it feels as though like you're just treating him badly, and then you will feel bad, and then you will feel bad about feeling bad,
Mm,
and then compound. Then
yeah.
speaking of counseling, I think counseling is it's the balance between giving advice and validating the counsel's emotions, and I feel that few can do that, which is why counselors exist. So that's my opinion. They are useful people and they are necessary.
Yeah, but then what do you think about the whole thing about how many students are are unwilling to head to counselors?
Okay. So that the thing with that is, right,
It's too complex,
it's not too complex. Like I said, the very act of booking an appointment and walking into the counselor's office is easy. It
Mm,
is the emotional cost that they have to pay.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know what emotional costs are. Ego, uh, social anxiety, it doesn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
I think you go to the counselor after you have talked to your friend,
Yeah.
because it takes a certain strength to be able to acknowledge that you need to seek help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's two detox methods that we have discussed. One,
Huh?
yeah, distractions and actively seeking help.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
and
good.
distractions, we have distraction through music, distraction
Mm-hmm.
through work,
Writing,
and
phone.
writing. Yeah, but
Mm.
speaking of writing, right, I wanted to talk about the more controversial method of distractions, social media. So the way you know how I talked about running a spam account, right?
Ah.
Yeah. That I'm just gonna like speak from personal experience. I'll just my posts are usually at 1 a.m. when
Mm-hmm.
11 p.m. sadness has compounded and multiplied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I just type like a long paragraph,
Along
a few
a,
long paragraphs,
a
and then just like
literary
post it
work,
there.
a poem.
What?
Huh? Don't you like typing poems?
Oh, poems. It takes a certain technique to be able to express itself uh succinctly. So no,
Mm.
it's like a passage. Yeah, but that's for spam accounts. But then there's okay, social media is meant to be social. Am I right?
Yeah.
So spam accounts are just one aspect. Let's just call it the diary, but online and not really private, but still is kind of private.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's shift our focus to the social side of social media. What do you
Mm.
think about the people who adopt a sort of personality on social media? Not on the internet, not being a keyboard warrior, just on social media with their name attached to whatever account that they run.
I mean, honestly, regarding that topic, I'm also not really sure what to think, honestly, because I feel that if it, honestly, if it makes them happy that they have this sort of persona online, then yeah, sure, they can just go for it, I'm not going to stop them. But then if it's causing them to have some sort of, I mean, if I'm not wrong, it is possible for people to have like, will people get things like maybe dissociative identity disorders from this? Or
What's
will
that
they start like this
exactly?
like, oh yeah, no, I remember watching a video which basically documented the life of some social media influencer, in which his life became so like revolved around social media to the to the point that he was just so how should I put it? He was just so
Obsessed,
yeah, he was
concerned
very
with
very
his
obsessed
with
with
his
it.
public image.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was so obsessed with his body image
Oh,
and had to make sure that he was always presented in a certain manner such that it will appeal to his followers. So when it reaches that sort, when a online persona reaches that sort of point, and reaches a certain point that
where his
is
persona becomes his
detrimental,
personality.
yeah, when it's detrimental, then I'll say that is when they should stop.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, I completely agree with you. My
Mm-hmm.
only issue is that's a bit out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to confine like this discussion to um like
Student.
maybe not student, just like a regular like teenager.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's just take our age for example. Because remember what I said about uh the way the way you present yourself online, or like the way you present yourself in, but actually no, I didn't say that, you said that people present themselves differently online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to know what you think about this subtle difference online, because I noticed, right, that
Ah.
speaking to let's call them person X, because person X, the
Ah.
way person X talks to me in real life
Mm-hmm.
over Skype or Discord,
Mm-hmm.
over WhatsApp
Mm-hmm.
or instant messaging, and
Yeah.
whatever they post online are completely different.
Yeah.
I just want to know what you think about social media's influence, given whatever I just said.
Honestly, I feel that even if social media is not there, people would still present themselves differently through through the other mediums that you've stated, like WhatsApp,
Yeah, yeah,
Telegram.
okay, yeah.
Mm,
So,
so
but
so so I think okay, but to be fair, social media does also kind of yeah, I guess social media is just one more way for people to portray themselves differently online.
mm,
But yeah, but if not, I just feel it's oh wait, unless you're referring to the whole idea of people who look at other people's profile and their social media pages and then see that they have portrayed their lives to be very nice, fancy, and therefore this
that's a
influences
separate
them.
issue. That's a separate issue that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, but let's put it on hold for now. I just want I just for a period of time, right, I feel that whatever you post online was for the sake of uh well, you post because you seek attention and validation. Though the extents differ, the
Intention.
yeah, the intention was always there,
Mm-hmm.
which led to this development that social media is a facade, and to a certain extent it really is, right?
Mm, yeah.
That's why we maintain private accounts and spam accounts in the first place, and
Yeah.
that's why we share, and that's why our close friends, our group of close friends is usually like a single digit, and not the 900 that we have, the 900 plus followers that we have. Yeah. So uh for the last year, or sometime during the last year, I have taken quite a disliking to that, because my life philosophy changed in a very
Ah.
bad way.
Ah.
Yeah. Then going back to whatever you said, right? Portraying yourself in a positive light. I think that's perfectly normal, because recall our discussion about a few minutes ago where we talked about society needing people to not express whatever they are feeling whenever they are feeling,
Mm.
s- uh for society to function. So yeah, that's perfectly okay
Mm.
to current me. Definitely not okay to past me, but past me doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. And I think it's kind of nice too, don't you think? Where it's like it almost functions as a photo album. Just
Um.
think of traditional photo albums. You don't put pictures of people crying in there, right? I like to think that whatever we post online functions as a sort of photo album where we
Yeah.
preserve and immortalize the fondest memories. Such a nice image. Huh.
Mm.
Then maybe let's address past me and tell past me that he is wrong, and list out the reasons that he is wrong. Past
Mm.
me had a really negative perception towards social media, believing in genuine human connections through physical human interaction.
Mm.
And that uh that argument doesn't sound that bad, doesn't
It
it?
doesn't sound that bad, yeah.
Yeah, because like the physical human interactions always feel more genuine, more real. And if anything, I believe like this quarantine period has really driven that message. But
Mm.
the thing I realized is, right, it's a bit hard to initiate a conversation with an acquaintance
Yeah.
because your acquaintance is a friend of another acquaintance who is a friend of your friend. So like you have been removed. Like, you know, on a family tree, the cousins once removed, cousins twice removed. Yeah, just think of that, except that it's friends once removed, twice removed. Yeah, and the people in between are what people call mutuals. So yeah,
Mm.
back to the whole acquaintances thing. I think the plus side of social media is the fact that you can say one sentence and call it a conversation. Someone posts something funny on their Instagram story, reply with one line, they reply with one line, conversation over, interaction.
Like you have to like the final message for you.
Yeah. No, I I used to do like I didn't used to hate it because I didn't even know that exists. But like if 2019 me heard that liking a message could end a conversation, he would be so angry. He would say,
Mm.
"Wow, this is just fake interaction you've got there."
Mm.
Bro, I'm a wise man, but but yeah, I think that the like feature at the end of a message is extremely efficient, and I think it helps you to it just it's like a scaled down version of
Blue tick.
oh my god, blue tick is cruel. WhatsApp should change that. But this act of direct messaging is I think it's one of those like small things in life that are nice to have around. It can't replace actual conversations and actual interactions, but I think it has a place
Mm-hmm.
because you on like yeah, there's the acquaintance level,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also the fact that you get to meet strangers on the internet, have nice conversation with them, and yeah, and it also
Mm.
helps to break the ice that normal interactions can't break. Okay,
But
so
how?
just let me just share something, all right?
Oh,
You know how our cohort is pretty small?
yeah.
Like our
Okay.
IP cohort last year was pretty small,
Yeah, yeah.
and virtually everybody knew everybody.
I guess.
Yeah. So the problem with that is that we attend classes with our class, our form class, our
Yeah.
homeroom,
Mm.
whatever part of the world that you are from. So there is hardly any chance to interact with people outside your class unless you already had a pre-existing friendship that formed as a result of other connection.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, Instagram does a wonderful job of recommending people to follow.
Oh, you actually, I mean, honestly, right, if I didn't know the person, I also wouldn't follow the
No, I
person
won't
because I
follow
just feel
them.
it's,
I won't follow them, but like
uh,
I know that they exist, and
oh,
sometimes it feels as though they know that I exist.
uh-huh.
So there's this underlying we know of each other's existence. But
But
unfortunately, the circumstances do not permit us breaking this ice that we so desperately want to break. And I
yeah.
think one of the I think the 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 DM function just breaks this ice for you, because only when like we stepped into the IB program did I manage to break some ice with some people.
Mm-hmm.
How liberating. So that's all the positives. And
Mm-hmm.
as for the negatives, right, it's the whole social media is fake. It's full of fake people with fake interactions.
Mm.
And yeah, this argument that social media is addictive.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pretend it's an essay question. Social media is addictive. Discuss. Your response.
Oh,
What's your thesis?
what's my thesis? Oh my goodness.
It's a yes/no question.
What is addictive? I mean, yeah, for sure it is addictive because because it allows you to see what other people are doing, and then I guess that sort of that sort of being able to look into other people's lives, see what they are doing, is quite it's quite addictive, because because when you see things that other people are doing and yet you cannot, and yet, like, maybe you haven't done, or how should I put it? Basically, it's just very interesting to just see what's going on in other people's lives, kind of.
Yeah. That's okay. That is on the border of stalking, but I get where you're coming from, and I guess I have to agree because when I have nothing to do, right, my thumb just clicks. Not my clicks. My thumb just knows where the Instagram app is on my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then this whole idea where if you don't believe muscle memory is real, try rearranging the apps on your phone. Wow. Sometimes I do a social media detox, right, and I feel myself just trying to enter an app that doesn't exist on my phone. It was so
Mm-hmm.
strange, but it's definitely addictive. My issue with this is the people that my issue with dealing with this claim is the people that uh are the people that were like me last year. So this is really okay. So suppose that social media is addictive and we need to do something about it.
Yep.
We are we are I was about to say social justice warriors, but it's not really that. We are wise people here to educate the masses on
Mm-hmm.
the um addictiveness. Is that a word? I hope it's a word. Yeah.
Yeah,
Of
possibly.
yeah, of social media addiction. Let's go with that. Of social
Yeah.
media addiction.
Yeah.
So, uh one time I was walking about somewhere where
Mm-hmm.
and I saw this poster. And because I had nothing better to do, I took a look at the poster. It said, "Stop social media addiction." And I thought, oh, okay, this is a pretty nice poster. And then I looked down and it said, "Help to stop social media addiction by sharing this poster with your
Yeah.
friends on social media."
Those are the worst. Like that one reminds me of those what was it called? One like would
One like equals one prayer kind of
one
thing,
like
right?
equals to one more child fed or something.
Yeah, those things. Oh,
Yeah, those
goodness.
are the worst.
No,
It's because
no, I believe we're dealing with two different things. That's also another problem that I want to get to. But
yeah,
like first,
this,
the irony in that poster was just I was just baffled.
mm-hmm.
It's like you can't make up your mind as to what you want to do. I mean, it looked pretty amateurish. So like I'm assuming that their minds are also quite they're quite young and naive. So sure, but I think I think that message at the bottom just underscores the importance of social media in our lives.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I think
I
those people who are really I don't use Facebook. I do not believe in social media and online engagement. I think they should get off their high horse. Yeah, and then
yeah,
I think I've exhausted myself with just that. On to whatever you're about to say.
I guess it's just that Instagram has just become such a, how should I put it, such a crucial part of interactions, probably.
Yeah,
It's
it is
like,
a crucial part of interaction.
yeah, it is like, how should I put it? I was quite surprised that I remember there was once I was sitting on a table and then two people were interacting beside me. Then pretty much then oh wait, no, it was like a table for people. Then like I think five people then we were interacting. Then after one of the persons started asking everyone for the Instagram. So I was like quite surprised. I was like, so this is actually a practice, huh? Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
I was quite shocked.
really? I thought it felt normal to me, like staying in touch with someone you've only met once in your life and will never meet again.
Oh yeah.
It
Mm,
it it, it seemed normal, but I get where you're coming from. Because like
yeah, I guess like it was just cause like that was my, I don't know, first time witnessing that. Maybe it's once again because of how small our IP cohort was. That's why that sort of thing wasn't really
yeah,
necessary.
yeah.
So I was quite shocked about that. But then that also really shows how, yeah, how crucial social media is. Yeah, how crucial social media
Crucial
is
is
in.
is not that precise. Maybe ingrained. Ingrained would be better.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's no escaping that. Okay, let's move on to whatever you were saying on the one like equals one whatever. Those type of posts frustrate me so much because there are some competitions. There are some I don't know what competitions that depend on the number of likes you get for that post to measure your engagement and like the quality of whatever you are trying to the quality of whatever message you are trying to spread. Oh, I hate that so much.
These sort of things, okay, they do help raise awareness, but then how much do people actually, how concerned do people actually get from merely just double tapping the post to just like it once, you know? I mean,
Whatever you're
it
saying reminds me of what do you call that? A piece of media that I analyzed like 5 years ago.
mm,
What was that? Okay. It's the one where a sick child was laying on a bed with a bunch of Facebook thumbs up around him.
oh,
And I'm pretty sure the message is quite obvious.
yeah,
It's basically saying that double tapping does not solve anything.
yeah.
So I guess that's meaningful, but I think at the end of the day, I think what both sides of this social media argument can agree on
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that we should not let a bunch of statistics control us.
Why do you see statistics though? I thought you were going to say something like, you know, like a bunch of, oh, you
I
need
would say
statistics.
likes, but the thing is, it different social media platforms have different numbers.
Uh-huh, yeah,
I mean, okay,
yeah.
take for example, like Instagram, there is the follower to following ratio. There is the like to follower ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Reddit, there is the thumbs up, thumbs down, and awards.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah, I know. I know that like most of our a good chunk of our discussion was confined to Instagram, but I think I think it's appropriate because most of our interactions are on that platform anyway. Because what yeah, we're gonna analyze Skype, yeah, like dislike ratio on Skype. Oh, like dislike ratios, yeah, that was what I was talking about. YouTube
oh,
analytics are basically statistics.
yeah.
Average watch time, global engagement,
Mm-hmm.
uh, what else?
Subscriber to watch,
Yeah,
to
subscriber to watch
the
ratio. Let me just go like off. Let me just go off a bit. When I watch a YouTube video, I
mm,
am not interested in in the percentage of your subscribers. Oh no, the percentage of the people watching your videos being subscribed to you. It is a huge turn off.
uh-huh.
Those types of people, yeah, those are the types of people that we need to educate. I don't mind if you like. I don't mind if at the end of the video you ask people or like you ask for people to subscribe to your channel because your viewers actually, your new viewers that discovered you on recommended actually like your content at the
Yep.
end of the video, or like at least at the start, say like subscribe if you have not. I still can't tolerate that, but at least it's better than shoving statistics in my face. Try to pressure me into subscribing.
But then honestly, I kind of how should I put it? I kind of feel the opposite. Like how should I put it? I dislike it the most when they keep pressuring. No, not pressuring. More like they consistently remind people throughout the entire video to subscribe. However, like at least for the ones that I watched, they only mention it once in the very beginning and like very briefly and very casually. So at least for those, I feel that it's still okay. It's just it's just I have a problem with those that just keep
Yeah, I mean,
asking you and asking you.
as students, we don't. It'd be nice if I could, if there was a global platform for me to just complain and incite change. But I think all we can do now is to select the people that we like to watch and continue supporting them.
Yeah.
And it is unfortunate that the people that we do not like to watch are the people that are succeeding because their content is targeted at 12-year-olds.
That is true.
Yeah. So regarding this, I guess the anti-social media people, yeah, they do have a place. Just don't bash us, bash them. Bash the people that are obsessed with numbers. Bash the people that are slaves to a bunch of pixels. And you know who else needs to be bashed? 2019 me. Those people who pretend or like are delusional and believe that they are very deep and insightful and very perceptive.
No.
When starting this podcast, I thought about this. I know that there was a risk of us coming off as too trying to sound more philosophical and sophisticated than we really are. But I think let me just put it out there that I think at the end it's important to track your growth as a person. So I think that whatever opinions that we laid out here are whatever opinions that we carry now. And when new and better opinions come, we should be we should be able we should be responsive to change and just replace replace opinion with better opinion and better opinion with even better opinion. Whatever better is, that is something for future us to decide.
Yeah, basically just become more mature and grow.
Yeah. And the problem with these fake philosophers, right, is that they believe that they are above humans, above society.
Basically, they put themselves on a pedestal.
Yes.
And
yes, that's exactly it. And like, I remember last year, everybody was saying that I had a god complex, and you were right, guys. I was extremely egotistical. I should not have done that. But I guess the good thing was being able to see things from a different perspective. The pitfall was getting obsessed with being different. Speaking of being different, right? Let me just share with you this post that really irritated me. So the story was, I was bored. I was on Instagram. I went to Instagram Explore page, and my Instagram Explore page is a mess because I always click on anything that looks colorful. And the problem is that anything that looks colorful is always those fact pages that color like that no, they don't color like they color every other word. They probably say something like, garlic is the cure for cancer. And garlic is green. The is yellow. And for cancer is like red. Okay, so when it's small, I can't really see the content, so I click on it. And then like Instagram sees it and goes, ha! This person is interested in this content. Let's recommend more. So recommend more it did, and click on more I did. And a few days ago, I came across this post that went something along the lines of something people keep quiet because no one else can understand them. And this was 2020 me looking at the post. So obviously I was very infuriated. And you know what I did to deal with the infuriation? I went to the comment section to compound my anger. So the comment section was filled with people going, "Oh, I can totally relate. That's why I keep quiet," or something along those lines. I feel very different. Not many people can understand me. The irony is, it should be so obvious by now. If everybody is commenting the same thing, you are not special. That's what really irritates me about people. The obsession with being special.
Yeah.
I think I've saved this topic for another episode because that is going to require a lot. You're going to be hearing a lot from me about this.
Sure.
Yeah, so I feel a bit breathless now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually felt genuine anger as I recounted that experience. So, what do you think of these people?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really explore Instagram, Facebook that much.
Yeah, but what do you think of this?
Okay.
What do you think of these
Hi.
quote insightful people?
I, I haven't. I mean, okay. So basically, they just it's just basically the thing in which they think that they are wiser and yeah, they just think that they are wiser and special, right? Yeah, are you referring to that, right?
Yeah.
What do I think of them? I mean, I also honestly don't know what to say because I would say that it's yeah, I guess it's quite irritating sometimes, but then it also like stems from them being immature and not really having much life experience. So I mean, yeah, they're irritating, but can I blame them? Hard to say, like, yeah,
You were
it's
really
hard to say.
soft, huh?
I'm really what?
You were really soft on them.
Uh,
I spent a good 10 minutes borderline ranting, and here you were giving a nice balanced conclusion. But yeah, thank you for existing. Just serve as like my counterweight. But yes, okay. Uh, Something you said caught my attention. You know, you discussed, not discussed. You raised immaturity, right?
yeah,
I just want to talk about that a little more. You know, at 12, the one of the most important things drilled into us, and I'm pretty sure you've heard this statement, given given what I know about you, is that PSLE decides your entire future. You've heard of
yeah,
that, haven't you?
yeah.
Because I've heard of that. Because like I'm pretty sure many of our listeners, or I mean our targeted listeners, have heard that. And then in hindsight, right, when let's say Sec 3, Sec 4 came about,
Mhm.
PSLE wasn't really that difficult of an exam, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely relative to what you learn in secondary school.
Yeah. So I guess the same can be applied. That the same logic can be applied to uh our philosophies of on life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's this subreddit that is called r/I'm 14 and this is deep, where
Mm-hmm.
people mock uh uh media text is a bit formal. Where people where people mock posts that pretend or at least are deemed philosophical and insightful to a 14-year-old,
Yeah.
to an immature person. And
Oh yeah,
the
I've seen those before.
problem that I have, not with the subreddit, I think the subreddit, yeah, sure, let's let people have fun.
Mm.
The thing that concerned me was that some of the material uploaded there, or some of the material shamed there,
Mm.
I thought was pretty meaningful.
Oh really? Like what? Can you give examples? Also, I don't frequent. Yeah, I don't really frequent Reddit.
I guess I can't really think of any examples like off the bat, but there are those that deal with anything dealing with closure and nostalgia.
Ah,
Why do I emphasize nostalgia like that? Anything deal with closure and nostalgia were things that stuck out to me, and I'm hesitant to say that I can relate to those.
mhm.
So I guess I'll say that I was drawn to some of those posts, and it is frightening because here I am commenting about fake, not fake, um, deceptively sophisticated ideas,
Yeah.
while at the same time being drawn to these perceived shallow um topics.
But then in this case, I would definitely say that it is also the depth of it also depends on the reader. Yeah, to them they might say this sort of thing just how should I put it? It's just maybe that they phrase it in a certain way that they thought sounded sophisticated. However, when you come in with not only your understanding of what the sentence trying to say, you come in with also experience like more life experience than these 14-year-olds. So therefore, although it's the same sentence, however, the amount that you get from it, the amount that you get or that you learn from it is definitely is definitely much greater than what the original person intended it to have. You know how people look at let's say Chinese old sayings or Chinese idioms, right? And then and then like the amount that you understand from it that you get from looking at
You're
this
approaching it from that
like,
angle.
from yeah. So it basically what I'm trying to say is that similar to that, those that have like more life experience or have or have deeper understanding in certain areas, um, they would definitely understand a lot more from these things, and therefore they might also find themselves more drawn to it because they can they can kind of unravel the thing better and find more like deep meanings to the sentence
Yeah,
or
but
or to the post.
the thing that okay, I understand where you're coming from, where like wisdom comes with age, right? But at
Yeah.
the same time, it's just like the the PSLE analogy I gave,
Mm.
because my interpretation is that some of these perceived deep topics are not as deep as they really are when
Mm.
you grow older, because it feels like a normal aspect of life.
Mm.
So I think you don't find this, you don't necessarily get drawn to it. You dislike it because it amplifies a seemingly normal aspect of life. Yeah, that's how I phrase it.
Okay.
Yeah, but the question that I wanted to raise was, so should the issues surfaced by these childish this childish philosophy be dismissed
Mm.
on the grounds that it is childish?
I just feel that yeah we should just if we see them we just and we do not agree with them just like just move on and just go look at other things. And if you like can find and if you can really relate to it, then yeah, maybe give it like a thought or two before carrying on with the day. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so don't dismiss them, pretty much. The overarching message here is just be nice to people.
Uh-huh. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. This I mean, what are the um significant issues that we are facing now? Because
Mm,
in my literature course, currently we're dealing with Kitchen by Banana Yoshimoto. It is one of the few texts that I feel personally engaged by, because last year's me was obsessed. Let's go with obsessed. Last year's me was a mess. Last year's me was obsessed with the influence of communications technology. Whereas this year's me, or like present me, is more concerned, or at least places more value on human relationships and dynamics. So not themes, issues like issues like closure are things that I would like to read about.
So
That's those are some of the things that Yoshimoto addresses in her novella. Yeah, where the yeah, go read the book. I will I don't know, I'll find a way to get you a copy.
okay.
I will not lend you my copy because I want to keep it. So maybe it's your birthday present or something.
Find a PDF.
Yes. No, it is a good read because it deals with teen. I think they are teenagers, high school, right? Yeah, high school, university. I don't know, but they are around our age. The protagonists are around our age.
I see. Yeah.
But I want to talk a little bit about the the part 2 of the book, where it's about a boy and a girl, yeah, in a relationship, boyfriend girlfriend relationship, such that okay, our protagonist is the girlfriend, yeah. Okay, so there's the girlfriend and there is the boyfriend. I don't remember their names, so we're gonna have to go with that. There's the girlfriend, the boyfriend. Then the boyfriend has a brother, and that brother is the boyfriend of another girl. Okay, so let's just sort out the characters. There is protagonist boyfriend, boyfriend's brother. Let's just call him brother, and brother's girlfriend. 4 characters, 2 relationships. So everything was spoiler alert here. Spoiler alert for Moonlight Shadow. So boyfriend and protagonist had a loving relationship, just like brother and girlfriend. But one day, brother no, one day the 4 of them hung out in boyfriend's house, I think, and then boyfriend offered to drive brother's girlfriend home. And driving the drive, they got into a car accident. So protagonist and boyfriend's brother were left alone. And then Yoshimoto just explores this void left behind by the deaths of people. And the way that the book closes, it just felt a little too perfect for our world, where protagonists somehow, due to some other woman that she meets, is able to see boyfriend, now dead boyfriend, one last time. It's like it's the idea of like saying your final goodbyes. It's like the idea of last words. It gives a nice sense of closure, and the book closes with a pretty emotional letter. It was beautiful. Unlike most relationships that we see
in real life.
like in our in real life, where there is no closure, there is just drifting. And then you go from you go from like talking every day to seeing each other in 10 years.
I mean, I guess the idea of I think the reason why people don't actually have closures is because the idea of a closure is like, would you? I would say the idea of a closure is scary because if you have a closure, okay, because you said from talking every day to maybe talking, being a friend that you'll probably meet again in 10 years, right? But then if you have a closure, that might imply that that is a friend that you'll never see again, you know? So in that sense, isn't it slightly scarier to not have a closure? Isn't it scarier to have a closure because you have to acknowledge the harsh, like this harsh, like
Okay, I get where you're coming from, because like
uh,
the sense of finality doesn't sit well with you. But I feel that I like my relationships defined properly for me.
mm,
Yeah, so that's probably why I really love the text.
mm,
Yeah, and I don't know, it felt after I read the book, it felt I just felt more free, in the sense that whatever thoughts I was harboring was pretty much just spelled out for me. Well, except the whole relationship part, but the underlying themes. Well,
mm,
most of the underlying themes anyway, because it is a work of fiction. Fiction is
yeah,
fictional. So yeah, that's how stories work. They take an aspect of everyday life and amplify it. Themes are still there. Uh, Themes are still relevant to life.
mm,
Yeah, but I guess that's what makes literature so meaningful, huh?
yeah.
Or perhaps I'm being biased, because
Um,
the fictional world is 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 the perfect form of
it,
escape from the from the horrors of real
it,
life.
yeah,
What do you
it's
think?
just it's just the escapism that you can really get from fiction that really gets many people very hooked on it, you know.
Yeah, there is no yeah, and it's just yeah. I agree. And what do you think about the text you're dealing with now?
I mean, the text I'm dealing with. Oh, I mean, I'm currently dealing with Antigone, so which is about
Oh,
which
Greek tragedy is. Hmm.
honestly, this is like I think this is the first piece of Greek tragedy I've actually encountered because I'm not really that much of a I'm not that much of a reader, you know.
Greek tragedy is not my go-to.
Oh, okay.
I'm
But
I'm more of a slice of life kind of
mm,
person for books, not
oh,
for films.
okay. I mean, yeah, I'm more of a fantasy, adventure stories. You know, I don't know how those really interest me, but honestly, I do feel that although Antigone is something that I would definitely not turn to get entertainment, but then I feel that it definitely has a lot of very yeah, it is definitely very meaningful because of the things that the things that it considers when you actually think about it. Basically, the whole play just discuss the idea uh, of familial love versus state law, if I'm not wrong, if I remember properly. Yeah,
Familial love versus state law.
of some wait, in which they associated state like love to the gods, and so basically it's they're just comparing between they're just talking about how do you the gods and also like
Yeah,
old
that's a
traditions.
recurring motif of Greek tragedy. The
Oh,
the fate and gods.
oh, so in this one it's pretty much just the gods versus the state law, like the old tradition versus the new system. Like how do you balance the both? So yeah, what I feel very interesting about it is that how it is able to be so relevant. Something written thousands of years ago, being able to be so relevant in even our current day and age. It's just very it's just very
I think if
impressive and very
anything,
inspiring.
it's even more relevant now when many of us, I suppose like you and me included, uh, they just want to challenge the status quo because of the faults that we see in it. I think the value of whatever we read is to expose the problems in the systems that we live in, and it is
Mm,
up to us to address those problems.
mm,
I feel that fiction is the catalyst for change. Yeah, I like that.
mm.
I like that phrasing.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. We read, we learn, and we act.
Yeah.
Then we close the chapter on this book. We close the chapter on life, and we continue living. How
Mm.
nice, huh?
Yeah. That sounds so ideal,